Hello, let's talk about the Forbidden Kingdom. This movie stars Jackie Chan and Jet Li, while also having Michael Ingrano in it. He's the main character from what's it called? From Sky High, that Disney movie that came out 20 years ago. He's also in this film. He's actually the main character, Jason. I remember when this movie came out and thought that Jason was Shia LaBeouf, but I saw this I think in 2009, or I saw a part of it because my uncle watched this back in 2009, thinking, oh, that's Shia LaBeouf, that's cool. But yeah, this movie is just kind of okay. This film is about Jason. He loves martial arts cinema, kung fu cinema, and he's a big fan. And he has befriended Jackie Chan's one of his characters, and he loves going to this guy's store and buying bootlegs of Chinese kung fu movies. And at some point, he gets sort of forced by this gang of ruffians to go and steal from Jackie Chan, because Jackie Chan, I guess, casts checks, and these nincompoops think that Jackie Chan has the money there, so they try to go rob him. It goes wrong, and Jackie Chan gives Jason the staff, the staff of the Monkey King, and says, "Hey, this staff has been at my shop for years. It was here when my grandfather owned it. It was here when my dad owned it. And we've just been waiting for somebody to bring it to its rightful owner." Well, that person turns out to be Jason. And the staff sort of teleports him back to ancient China, where Jason has to, in fact, team up with Jackie Chan, playing Liu Yang, as Jackie Chan and Jason have to return this staff to the Monkey King. And I am vaguely familiar with the Monkey King. A decade ago, when I first got my first iPad, this is my second iPad. You guys have, of course, longtime viewers will have seen my original iPad and things. On my original iPad, I watched a lot of trailers for some reason. When I first got it, in 2014, I would watch a bunch of movie trailers. That's actually, in fact, how I know about the mocap Tarzan movie that came out in 2013, is because I saw a trailer for it, and I just watched random trailers for some reason for a whole year in the early days of me having an iPad. And so one of them, it was a movie about the Monkey King legend, and the Monkey King is a big legend in China, and every few years, every decade, China has a movie adaptation of the Monkey King. It is their thing. And I'm vaguely familiar with the Monkey King. I don't really know a lot. I know that Black Myth Wukong, that game that came out last year, that was big, that is based off of the Monkey King. So I'm vaguely familiar with the Monkey King legend, just in name only. And this movie is about Jason and Jackie Chan, and even Jet Li as sort of a monk character, having to give the Monkey King his staff, because the Monkey King has been, turned to stone by the Jade warlord or whatever. And this is a pretty average movie. Forgive me for spending so long on the sort of plot synopsis, but this is kind of, I would say it's kind of an average, early or mid 2000s, late 2000s kind of B movie, I've talked last month when I reviewed Back to the Future about how we don't make movies like Back to the Future anymore. And, back in the 80s and pre the 90s, or, in the 90s, and then, even, before the 90s, pre-90s, we just made movies differently. You know, there was just an art and a craft to filmmaking that just isn't, you know, done today. And, you know, we all sort of glorify and, I guess, you know, our modern day vernacular would say we glaze, you know, the 40 years ago of Hollywood. But, you know, we most certainly had our crappy movies, you know, just like we have crappy movies today and we have really great movies today. We had, you know, that type of stuff back then. You know, we had The Irishman, we had our Sinners back like 50 years ago, but we also had sort of just average kind of crappy popcorn movies, you know, B movies. And this most certainly kind of feels like a B movie to me. You know, just something that you can kind of just like have on and have fun. And that's sort of how I would describe this film. This also has, weirdly enough, this has like Li Bingbing in it, and like it has to be like one of her first English speaking roles. And Li Bingbing, you know, she is in like the Meg, the first Meg. She's in, obviously, I think a lot of Americans probably first saw her in like Days of Future Past and in Transformers Age of Extinction. She's apparently a little bit older than I thought she was. She was born in like 73 and apparently is in this movie. And she kind of has, I think, the weakest performance. I'm not going to say she's bad because like this movie is, like I said, average. So I wouldn't say she's giving a bad performance. She's just kind of giving a weak performance because like most of the cast in this film, she, you know, English is like a second language. So like she's only, you know, able to, I don't know, emote so much in English. And so that provides a weak performance. But she's like, okay. This also weirdly has, I don't know her name, or I at the very least can't pronounce her name, but this weirdly has like Mulan from the like live action Mulan movie. Like this has Mulan in this film. And it's kind of weird that she's in it because like she must be older than I'm thinking she is, because I don't know, like granted every Disney princess, I think, but except for like I think the Princess Frog is supposed to be right, aren't all Disney princesses teenagers, and isn't Mulan one of them? It's kind of weird that like they got an older actress to play Mulan. At the very least, an actress who's supposed to be like 30 to like late 30s, mid 30s, you know, but like to play her. But you know, whatever, I guess she's in this movie, and she kind of, they do this weird thing where they have her speak in, I think, the third person, where instead of saying like, you know, I'm going to do something, she says she is going to do something. Like she's speaking in this weird like third person speak. And I don't know, like, this is just very, you know, average. You know, I liked parts of it, and I found other parts kind of oddly 2000s. You know, this isn't like a bad movie, you know, but like it is fairly good. And the action sequences are actually really well choreographed. You know, obviously Jet Li and Jackie Chan are like two of the greatest, you know, actors to to be in martial arts movies. So, like, obviously, they do, like, a really good job, and they actually had to pivot the marketing to this film, because originally it was, like, I guess had Jason more at the fore, because Jason's, like, the main character, but then fans of these actors were like, well, what the heck? You know, why? So they, like, completely, like, revamped everything to have, like, the trailers and the marketing, like, the posters, focus more on Jackie Chan and Jet Li. And then of course when people who only saw the second wave of advertising saw it, they were like, oh, what the heck, why are they only side characters? That is a bit interesting, but like I don't know. And although there's there actually, this year, was a 4K release of this film. So let's talk about my history a little bit with this film. I vaguely remember this, my uncle watching this back in like 2009 for whatever reason. I vaguely remember him watching this and thinking Jason was played by Shia LaBeouf. But like, I never really think about this movie too much until like probably last year. I was gonna say a few months ago, but maybe last year at this point. I was like, you know, there's a movie. I wonder if I dreamed it. There's a movie with like Jackie Chan and Jet Li, and I think like some white person, like some white guy in it, who I thought was Shia LaBeouf, but I don't think actually is Shia LaBeouf. Looking back, I gotta figure out like what that movie is, and that movie turned out to be The Forbidden Kingdom. And of course, just like 2 weeks ago, I found this film at a Goodwill. So this is starting a bit of a series where I have a stack over there of like 10 movies. Granted, I guess it's 9 now because this is one of 10. 9 movies over there that I'm just going to sort of review and talk about that I got at secondhand stores. So this is the first sort of installment of that. So yeah, there you go. Also, I stopped having to like blow my nose like 2 days ago. So hopefully this cough goes away soon, because I'm having to stop the video every time I cough. But yeah. Anywho, that was a lot of talking, y'all. But remember that God, He made you special. He loves you very much. Comment below, let me know. Do you remember this movie? Did you see this movie when it came out? Do you vaguely remember this film like I did? All that kind of good stuff. Comment below, let me know. And tell me how that 4K release, I guess, turns out. Because, I mean, I'm not going to buy it now. I got this. But yeah, I was surprised to learn that there was a 4K release, like literally this year. But yeah, so remember, God made you special. He loves you very much. I hope you had a very lovely day. I hope you had a very lovely week. As always, God bless and bye.